JimBob Sports Jamboree with Vikings legend, NFL legend. We're going to tell you how much a legend he is in a moment. The superstar Mike Morris, Jim Rich from Fox 9. I'm Bob Sansevere. And I was not here when you guys talked about this. This man sitting to my right, to Mike's left, he belongs, according to Bud Grant and others too, I'm sure, on, you talk about the Mount Rushmore, of toughest players ever to play in the NFL. Well, it wouldn't be ever, because when you played, it was the toughest players in football. Now, Mike, explain why I'm saying that.
Well, I had a YouTube pop up on my TV screen. So, the algorithms sort of figure for all the stuff that I look at is that they're going to send more stuff in that category, which they do all the time. And I look up on the screen. I'm just kind of surfing through one night, and it comes up. It's Bud's picture on the screen, and it says, Bud Grant's, he rates his toughest 6 players in his coaching time.
Not just Vikings.
Top 6, all players, all time. So I'm like, this will be good, and I'm expecting most everything to be, Viking players, and most of them were. I think out of the 6, there were 3 anyway. And the first one, starting at 6 and finishing at the top, but the first was Alan Page. Tons of reasons. It's like a 25-minute feature. And then it was...
Fran?
It was Deacon Jones.
Oh, Deacon Jones. Wow.
Number 3, actually number 4 on this list, it was Jim Brown, then Ray Nitschke, then Fran Tarkenton, and then Chuck Foreman was at the top.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Toughest player he ever saw.
Absolutely.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yes. Toughest player.
Hey, it's a compliment.
Player.
I take
Toughest
it.
Player.
Don't misunderstand
Well,
me. But
you've talked about, you never missed games, and you played through how many injuries?
a lot of them.
Spleen, shoulder,
Separated
legs,
shoulders.
If there's going to be a top 5,
Sternum.
top 6, like a Mount Rushmore, don't just give me the players that you think are the best. Give me the toughest ones. That's really a better. That's a better category.
He would have been all Madden every year.
Yeah, that would have been. That's the category for me, is guys who never missed games and always played, had a big heart. That whole thing, like top 5 there.
And
toughest guys.
Who was not on the list? His all-time favorite Viking.
Jim Marshall, Mick Tinglehoff. They weren't there. I was surprised Fran was there. Kind of.
Was he a tough guy? He must have been.
Well, he played hurt quite a bit.
As did you.
Huh?
Well, they gave different reasons for Fran,
I think he had issues with his arm, but he never. I think they were shooting that thing up. I really do.
You know what?
You talked about the big giant needle.
Yeah,
when you used to go to the dentist, what was his name?
Yeah, the dentist. Yeah, Dr. Snowball.
The thing that's interesting about
the size of the needle. How big was the needle? When he was a
but
kid,
the one that the Vikings wanted to use,
it was like 8 inches.
That sucker was so long. I'm like, oh no way.
Yeah,
y'all got to figure out something else.
He might be the toughest guy, but not when it came to needles.
Not when it came to needles.
Well, Johnny Randall had a phobia almost for needle, a panic attack when he saw needles for like drawing blood or doing whatever at team physical. You had to meet. All of us had to meet at the same place, same time.
All right.
See Dr. Burns, Dr. Dave
Fisher.
David Fisher. Very good. And when the needle came out for him to do, he was shaking. I saw him.
Did y'all have to hold him down?
Shaking. John Randall, and no, he made us all get out of the room. No, just get out. Get out. Shut the door, and they did what they had to do to draw the blood, but he did not like those needles, man. I'm talking about just a regular needle.
All right, you know what's amazing about that list of buds? He parted not on good terms with Alan Page, but he did not hold that against Alan because he knew how tough he was.
He was tough.
Alan Page was. I admired Alan Page.
Yeah,
that's the only player I ever played with that I can say that about.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, not a great player, but a strong human being.
Yes, and he listed that as his reasons for being on the list, is that he challenged him as a coach. He didn't let off. He stayed with his own principles, meaning Alan Page. He didn't walk away from his beliefs and his own way of thinking about his game and football and all those things. And Bud said he was tough for a lot of reasons, and that was one of them, And Fran was stubborn-minded, I guess. I don't know. I didn't play with him, but he said that was what challenged him as a coach, to coach him. And he was super tough on the field, and a super tough competitor. And they had different lists. He had a different category for each guy.
I would have been curious to see Bud Grant coach Randy Moss, who was challenging as a player.
Oh, man.
He would have found a way, though.
Yeah.
To
Probably.
Get to him. Yeah, he would have.
You just let Randy play.
Because let me tell you a story. You know, when we got Ahmad Rashad from Seattle,
Yeah.
I think, you know, when Ahmad was in St. Louis,
Oh,
and he was Bobby Moore, and then he was changing his name and everything, and then, of course, all the stuff he was going through with that whole thing. But the word on Ahmad was that he was a difficult malcontent, right?
okay.
No, that's no joke. You can just look it up. And so when we heard rumors that he was coming, everybody in the locker room was talking about, wow, man, Bud can't possibly be bringing him in here to create problems, right?
Yeah.
Well, he got here and everything, and at that time he was only playing like he had a hurt right knee was hurt, so he was just running patterns on really one, and he was beating everybody on one leg. And that's no joke. But when he came here, it was like, this guy's nothing like everybody was portraying him to be.
Yeah.
Now he was definitely well aware of who he was. He was a strong-minded person, no question about it. But everything we had heard was just like not true.
So, okay, is it true? Because I didn't cover the team when Ahmad was on the team.
Right.
Did Bud always refer to him as Ahmad?
Ahmad, yep. He came in and made sure, because one of the issues that he had with the former teams that he played with, when he changed his name to Ahmad Rashad,
Right.
the head coaches that he was playing for, I forgot the guy in St. Louis, and then he was someplace else, and then he went to Buffalo, but they kept calling him Bobby.
Oh, he like that's like Muhammad Ali getting
so
cashes.
He said, hey, look, I'm not Bobby Moore. I'm Ahmad Rashad, and the coaches wouldn't recognize the name that he had chosen for whatever reason it was. But you know, in those days they thought it was militant, but it really wasn't. It was his religious belief. But you know, he had to deal with all that when he came. But Bud just he came in here. Bud just in fact, I think they became real best of buddies.
But he went with Ahmad.
Yeah, but he called him Ahmad.
Was there a reason for that? Or was he trying to go super technical?
You could pronounce it both
that's
ways.
What I thought. That's what I thought.
But he was definitely when he got here, Bud, he came in and introduced him to us, and it was just.
I think Bud was tweaking him.
Yeah,
because nobody else called him Ahmad.
Yeah, but Bud allowed you to be who you were.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you stayed focused on what he wanted you to do on Sunday. He didn't have a problem with your religion or anything. That's one thing people don't know about Bud. He figured out a way to get along and to understand people and their different
That's what made him great.
ideas.
Everyone that I've ever heard talk about Bud Grant, why he was a great coach, was because he never missed a guy in training camp that he misread and either traded or cut and ended up on some other team, burning him then when he played. He always kept the right guys. He had a great judgment of talent.
He knew when you were.
And how to motivate and how to.
Yeah. He kept a lot of guys around like maybe too long.
Maybe so.
But look what he did when he, at training camp, he had what the markers put around an area where it said stay off the grass. He would watch the players who walked on the grass got cut. He also knew Alan Page and Carl Eller were not going to walk on the grass. Yeah. But it was the young guys who didn't pay attention, and that bothered him because in a game, what if they don't pay attention?
He did a lot of things like that just, people wouldn't understand it. But why is that there? And he'd just be observant.
Yeah, he was one of the more interesting coaches.
Very much cerebral, very interesting,
like an inside thinker.
He wasn't a perfect coach now, but he was definitely. I was definitely lucky to play for him, no doubt.
I liked Bud except for 1985 when he coached the team. He was horrible to deal with as a head coach.
Really?
Why?
When he stepped back in for Les Steckel,
1 year, because he was a dictatorial. I recall when Kurt Brown and I, the Pro Football Writers Association, had gotten the permission to get into the locker room at every time at like lunchtime and then after practice. Well, Bud wouldn't let us go in at lunchtime or after practice. He wanted us to get the players when they were leaving. And the league made him do it, and we no longer had access to the assistant coaches. And I said to one of the coaches, I said, what happened? Why? And he goes, you got to ask Bud. I asked Bud, and Bud said, he smiled, and he said, you can't hold all the cards. But that was Bud. You remember that? You must have covered him a few years, right? Prior to 85?
Yeah, but I never had, you can't push him. Right?
Oh, no, he did not want to be pushed.
Right, and he was telling you guys that's why you think you had a problem with him, because you tried to change the rules the way he wanted to run
I
things.
got along great with him after that. And he and I had many good conversations about how to make the right popcorn. Because this is back when
Bud.
we had
Only
free
Bud.
reign in their front office if you were in the media.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike Lynn's assistant would make popcorn, and she'd give me some. And, there was a time when I said, hey, can I make some popcorn and bring it to the writers? Sure. And that's when Bud corrected me on the right way to do it.
That is priceless.
And also lectured me on don't ever eat anything after 8 o'clock.
Smart.
So anyway,
Smart.
you
That's
know what?
smart.
We were going to, and we will talk about it. We got to talk about all these quarterbacks the Vikings have. So, and this is draft week, and we're going to be talking about drafts. But let's take a quick break. The JimBob Sports Jam. We'll be back with Vikings legend, NFL legend, Mount Rushmore toughest guy, Chuck Foreman, superstar Mike Morris, Jim Rich. We'll be right back. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree, brought to you by TWS Remodeling. I didn't mention the first segment because we want to make sure they get special attention right now. He's the guy to go to. Tyler Gans he's done some wonderful things for people. When another company went out of business, he took on their business, gave them 50% off. That's the kind of guy he is.
Well, that's the thing, right? It was a chance where the whole industry was going to be marred by this, and people would be gun shy of signing up with anybody. And he felt so bad for these people. He's taken on employees that lost their jobs. He picked up the jobs that people had half done. Their siding was peeled off. Their roof was not done. And they stepped up and said, hey, if you can give us 50% of this, we'll figure out the rest of it. And he went to the suppliers, cut deals with those people so everybody could be whole, because he knows that, once an industry gets a bad reputation, nobody's going to trust these guys moving forward. So that was the smart idea that Tyler came up with. And also, we have to tell you, Trade Home Shoes is also a big-time sponsor. They're going to be helping out the Special Olympians.
Nice.
So you could go to Trade Home Shoes. You could sponsor a Special Olympian by buying a pair of shoes there. And that's what's cool about it, right? Everybody needs shoes. Well, why don't you buy shoes from a place that's going to do good with those profits? So
And you know what? You
they're
go
all over the state. Everywhere you listen to the JimBob, you can find one. Bemidji, Worthington, Mankato, Duluth, International Falls. There's stores everywhere.
You go to the word Good Samaritan, and you're gonna find a picture of Tyler Gans and a big shoe from Trade Home Shoes and the people that run that.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, if you go to the dictionary and you look for great service, where are you going to find, Mike? You're going to find
Great service, I think of right away, because my father ran a car dealership in Centerville, Iowa, and the service department for his place had to be the one that kept the people coming back and buying new cars from him in a small town. You had to have repeat business. If you didn't take care of their car once they bought one from you and didn't see them again, you literally had 7,500 people to work with to begin with. If you messed them around, the word was through town that that's not where you find a deal, and then that's not where you find service. So anyway, with that being said, Dodge of Burnsville is one of those kinds of dealerships. My dad sold Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge trucks, and so I fell into a really nice situation here when I got here in the Twin Cities, and fell into it with Dodge of Burnsville. Mark Seva, his son Adam, we struck it off decades ago. It's easily 20 plus years now. So they are the place to go if you're looking for good service after you buy a new or used vehicle, truck or car. They have them all down there at Dodge of Burnsville. They're located on 35W and Cliff Road in Burnsville. So step on in there, tell them that the superstar Mike Morris sent you down, and I can guarantee you that if you buy something down there or you trade something in, you'll get great service after you've bought it.
And I can attest to that because thanks to Mike talking about it, my son went there and bought a Dodge Dually, And the service was terrific because he brought it down there. They told him they're going to take care of a couple of little scratches, took care of it, buffed him out or got him out. And he's very happy with that dually.
Oh, yeah.
He's traveled all over the country with it.
It's a great truck.
All right, and also you got a pal that's also coming up with a football camp, right?
Got a great pal up in northern middle Minnesota, I guess it would be Alexandria area. I met him last summer for a football clinic that I helped out with. And his name is Kevin Tape. He's a big-time farmer up there, but he also puts together a football camp and a really nice, like 2 or 3 different things that parents can do when they get their kids there. It's for kids in the rural area to sign up for because it's hard to get signed in down in the Twin Cities in time to be able to get on the roster to come in. So he's providing them with an opportunity to come in and get coached up by some really good Viking players from the past and enjoy that. And the parents don't have to just sit there. They can go on a boat ride or a fishing trip or golf for the afternoon, and he'll take care of them with that too. He's got that all set up before they come in. So, Kevin Tafe, thank you very much for being a good sponsor of this show and Starstruck. Really appreciate it.
And now, Jim, you have a great question about this because you and I were dickering about it on the phone the other day.
Yeah, well, okay, you look at what the Vikings are sitting on, and I'm sure you guys have all heard this cliche that if you have 3 quarterbacks, you actually have no quarterback. And the Vikings are sitting there, not with 3, but they have 4. And Justin Jefferson met with the media at the start of the offseason workouts this week, and he was asked about, how it's going to go or what's going to happen. And he just goes, well, that's KOC's department. But he says, I've been working out with J.J. McCarthy, working on getting used to the way he throws the ball and doing some stuff. But it kind of popped into my head. Okay, so you work with him. What about Kyler Murray? What about Carson Wentz? What about Max Brosmer? How are you going to service all 4 of these guys? Don't you feel that a decision has to be made earlier in this process? I mean, are you really going to go through all the OTAs and everything, Chuck, with 3 different guys going in there? Because these guys go work out now on their own too. So is the team splitting up with these receivers going with Murray and these other guys going with JJ?
I don't think so. I think with Murray coming in and bringing his skill set and JJ with his, and then of course Carson Wentz, and then Brosmer, he's kind of a guy trying to find his way. I think JJ, as we were saying before, his immaturity is going to hurt him and his inexperience. So there you got Carson Wentz and you have Kyler Murray. And, those 2 will be, in my opinion, competing. Well, they're the ones that have the experience, but I think Kyler Murray has to step up on everybody. And Brosmer, I think he can play in the league. It may not just be here.
Right. But, Mike, let's put it in your world. What if they had 3 kickers that you had to try and get, a rhythm with and understand their nuances?
Yeah,
would it be an issue or not?
It would be. I mean, and they used to bring in camp kickers just to take the reps off the kicker you knew was coming back as your veteran kicker. So you'd have a couple good legs that would come in and compete. But they were there literally just to give the kicker that we knew was going to make the team some rest in practice and not have to kick a jillion footballs all practice long during training camp. But this is not the case as much. I mean, this is absolutely a competition, and I like that. And although JJ is known for being immature, this is going to bring him to a different place. I mean, this kind of pressure is going to be what he needs, and I don't know if he's going to be that way this time around. If they truly make it a competition, and if you're JJ Jefferson, that is, you want to come back and sort of support the incumbent quarterback, your teammate from last year. I get it, and that would also be Carson Wentz and Max. But you got to give the kid a chance to show that he's changed and he's different now, and he's going to look at things differently and handle himself differently. And with guys like Murray in town, he's going to be forced to step it up big time. And I think Murray's the best guy. I just do. With a wild card being Wentz again, if he's healthy. I do like him.
I think he's lurking.
I think
O'Connell likes him.
Yeah.
the most. I think that's the kind of guy that he feels can run his offense the way he wants it, because he wants those deep, accurate shots where Wentz, Cousins, and Darnold could throw those balls.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that really make his offense roll. And I don't know if McCarthy, we saw, didn't have that accuracy. Murray's got the arm, but he's not a pocket quarterback. And again, I'm speaking way out of my lane here, Chuck. Put me back in the.
I'm gonna put you
in the
back
right where I need to be.
but Kyle, let's put it like this. You know, the head coach, he got to win, and this is a win right now league. He doesn't have the time to be worrying about who he's going to pick. You know, the guy that they chose to run the team is coming in here, and that's Kyler Murray. And he's the chosen one because, number one, he can throw it, and if with the offensive line we got, he's got the escapability to make things happen.
Yeah.
They don't have time to wait at this point. Well, Kevin doesn't.
No.
You know, he's under hey, they'll cut him too.
Yeah, I mean,
He's got to do what's best for him and the team itself. They got to win.
Well, your original question, they don't have 4 quarterbacks. Brosmer will be just another body, and he'll wind up on the practice squad if he's even there, because there's a lot happening draft and post-draft.
Oh, yeah.
In free agents, so they could pick somebody up. But
Max isn't a huge factor at all, right?
No. But getting back to I think Carson Wentz, Mike talked about Chuck being number 1. Carson Wentz would have to be on any list of tough guys. What he did in that last game with his arm hanging off, he is so tough. And you know what? J.J. McCarthy's the opposite. He took himself out of the final game. Yeah. Not the trainer, not a doctor. He said, I'm taking myself out. And that, I think, Chuck, you two guys can talk about it. Players don't forget that he took himself out, especially when Wentz, you had to drag him off the field.
Yeah, there's 2 different kinds of guys in this league, and that there's some hardcore people like Mr. Tough Guy over here, Chuck Foreman, apparently. I didn't play with Chuck, but a really, really good football coach said he's the toughest guy he ever had a chance to be on a football field with. For or against, Bud Grant said that. So I'm just gonna say, toughness is one of the categories you can fall into, and the other one is soft. And you don't want anyone saying you're soft, but when you take yourself out of a football game that you've been okayed to play in with a hairline fracture, and you wouldn't be out there if they didn't say you could go, and you take yourself out because supposedly the pain's too much. I'm laughing. Anyway, it's not funny. It's not funny, but
it's a different. Yeah,
it's a different mentality. He's going to have to change all that.
But you know what? Players of today are different. A lot of guys do that.
Way different.
Totally. You know what it is? They
Yeah.
say, well, look, if I go out there and I get hurt, they thinking about that next contract. Now, because, let's put it like this. I guess we all would be if we making millions.
No
It's a big difference
No
when
trouble.
you're playing in my era and you're like, man, I got to get out there. I got to get to the playoffs. That's my money. I got to put my savings account for my future.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Well,
That's right.
That's what the attitudes were my teammates. And listen, if you didn't come to play, they'd be right in your face. Carl, Jim, and people like that, Nick.
And you don't want them there.
No, it's like,
God.
hey, rookie, that's not how we do this here. You messing with my money, and when they said it to you, they said it to a couple guys I knew I was rookies with, and they were serious too. Hey man, you messing with my money.
Oh, that's
true.
All right.
That's true.
Let's take a quick break. When we get back, I want to ask all of you, how do you, and forget Brosmer, how do you line them up though? Because the question is not number 1. I think it's number 2 and 3 and how you line them up. So we'll get into that. We'll take a quick break now. And the JimBob Sports Jamboree brought to you by TWS Remodeling and Trade Home Shoes. We'll be right back. We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree brought to you by
TWS Remodeling. Get
And?
everything done. Siding, roofing, kitchens, baths. They can figure it out. And if it's something that's not in their wheelhouse, they will steer you in the right direction. And of course, our buddies at Trade Home Shoes, get out there. It's nice weather. You need nice shoes, and that's the place to roll.
You know what you need to do? You got to get Tyler to send all his guys over to Trade Home Shoes to get good working shoes.
I'm sure they already do.
That's right. All right. Now the question is, and you and I did we disagree on that, Jim? on the line, the way you line them up? We both agreed on Kyler Murray, right? Or are you more of a Wentz guy?
He's a Wentz.
I just think this is the way O'Connell thinks because he loves his offense. We saw him do this when other quarterbacks were throwing in. He tried to make the Pasternaut into Kirk Cousins. You know, he didn't let him run around and scramble. Instead, he made him a pocket passer, and he got destroyed back there.
Yep.
You know, so we saw him though at the end of last season, dumb things down, for lack of a better term, taking out some plays. So J.J. McCarthy was more efficient at the end of the season, but they were taking out plays that I'm sure are O'Connell's favorite. So we'll see what he does. But like you said, Chuck, though, he's on the clock now. His days of experimenting are over. He's got to produce now.
He doesn't have time to experiment.
And that may be another reason.
Especially since he let 2 starting quarterbacks that were at some point 1 and 2 in the league.
Yep.
And then one won the Super Bowl, and the other would have probably been in there if he didn't get hurt.
Think if they played each other.
Daniel
in the
Jones.
Super Bowl.
That would have been
That would
precious.
have cleaned out the whole organization.
I think they might have all got fired.
Yeah, the Wills would have just cleaned house. They would even say, "Don't even come back in. You're done."
Well, because I'm thinking it's Murray, Wentz, and JJ's going to be third.
I think number one, I'm hoping for one thing. I just hope for one thing, that each one of those guys get an equal opportunity to compete for that job. I think that Murray's the best athlete by far. No question. But he's had some issues with work habits, so a little attitude issue from time to time. Not as much the immaturity issue that JJ has, which I definitely think he's had. He's got to straighten that up quick. I think the best guy in the room right now for O'Connell is Wentz, and it's because he doesn't have to force feed the offense. He can just start from there, point A. But that's what each of the guys bring to the table, is that they have to compete, and best man wins, right? I'm fine with that. But this time you don't give the quarterback the job and send a couple guys home.
No.
Let them compete like everyone else on the team has to compete at every position, at least when I played. I don't know. But Murray's the guy. I think Murray's the guy. Age-wise, I think his body's probably in better shape than Wentz.
Well, when you talk about him, though, he's under the gun, too. Because all the things you just said. A lot of people think his attitude's messed up, his work habits are messed up.
Agreed.
And stuff like that. So he's going to be under the gun here specifically because Kevin is what they call him, a quarterback whisperer. That's what they call him, right?
Yeah, that is correct.
And I'm going to say that if he sees and he gets in here and he doesn't, if he identifies that this guy may not be, don't put in the work in that he's supposed to be putting in, he'll be back on second or third team.
Now, Jim, didn't you say that when Justin Jefferson talked this week, he indicated or hinted that he wants Murray?
Well, he thought that, and he was trying to be as diplomatic as possible doing this, but he thought that Murray has all the skills needed to be the guy. And that with his speed, with his accuracy, with the way he can think the game on the fly, he was very excited to see how that's going to fit in with the Vikings offense. And he did also tag on the end that these are my words, but this kind of says what he said, the kick in the pants that JJ needs. Because he's going to see somebody out there ripping it up, and he knows that he's in a different world now. He is not the anointed one. It is not his team anymore. He's got to fight to get it back. And Jefferson said that may be the best thing for everybody.
Well, you both have been in many training camps. If you're Kevin O'Connell, do you send in plays when when it's his turn for reps different for Kyler Murray? Because he is a different quarterback because he can run. And he can roll. He does a lot of rolling out. These two other guys do not. I mean, JJ could do some of that, but how do you tweak it so that this guy has the best chance to succeed? Chuck,
I don't know. I think with Murray, his playing creativity comes to play just naturally. I don't know that they'll put in special plays for him. I think it just happens on the run for him.
But
so-
isn't he's always been more of a shotgun guy, right?
Yeah,
Not
he
a-
hasn't been under the table. Under the center.
I thought there was a new expression for it.
Under the center. Hey, you probably couldn't see over the guy.
Probably
Well,
could.
that's the thing. Like his are all out of the shotgun,
Right.
and that again is not a thing that O'Connell likes to do. He likes that play action where you involve the back, and when
Right.
he's back there just taking it, well, it kind of limits then what he can do with his playbook. So it's going to be, I think very interesting.
One thing, and I agree with everything you guys are saying. I think that, honestly, you have to put in your system. Put the system in, then play. If you have to play 1, 2, the third quarter, whoever is in the game, you have to go to their strength in terms of play call, but it has to be within the system. So the other players don't have to learn 5 different things.
Right.
So different routes for different quarters. Just you have to know the system, and O'Connell has to know what to do if some guy's hurt and another guy's in, and you have to play into that player. If you're smart, you put him in a position to play best. Okay, you put all your players in a position to succeed, not to fail. You don't window dress anything. And Tony Dungy said this. It's not me saying it, but he said it best: is that you go with what got you there, and that's your knowledge to become a football coach, head football coach, and bring your offense, your ideal situation to the table on offense. But you have to put those players, those pieces out there on the table in place to be able to make them play as good as they can, instead of like putting a linebacker up in a Tampa 2 and having him drop back in the deep third and he can't get back there. I mean, you get burned trying to play a Tampa 2 with no middle linebacker.
What's the advantage, or wouldn't every quarterback prefer being in the shotgun because he's back already? He can see the defense better, or are there quarterbacks who are more comfortable under center?
I think in the shotgun you're limited. When you're under the center, you can do a lot of different things.
Well, like change a play to a run.
Running back. Change the play to. When you're under the quarterback, you can always audible out of the getting under there and going back. You can make all kinds of different changes.
I agree. Back in the shotgun, a lot of guys are having trouble seeing what they're seeing in the back end. And when the snap comes up, it could be anywhere. Left, right, too high, too low, and now your eye contact, you miss what's going on.
That's a great point.
And you lost what you were looking at, and someone moved again, and you're chasing a snap. It happens all the time.
Right. The game's too fast.
It's too fast. I think you have more control under the center, and you can get out and you can do things with the running game, fakes, counters, and then still drop back.
Now we have the shotgun. Now we have the pistol.
Oh yeah.
Will we ever? Is there a Derringer? Where you're like 1 foot back, or
A pea shooter.
they're really short?
Yeah, I suppose. Hey, leave it up to Kevin O'Connell. I mean, he's the guy that can
He's the one.
orchestrate that.
the guy.
Hopefully, you would think so.
Ask him that at the next news conference.
You better
All right.
find something.
Yeah,
I'll bring it up.
The Derringer offense. All right, you know what? Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back. So I want to ask all of you guys. We talked Mount Rushmore that Chuck would be on for toughest player. Let's come up with the Mount Rushmore of all-time Vikings first-round draft picks, first-round picks only. And we'll do that after we take the break, after we tell you TWS Remodeling, Trade Home Shoes, they bring you this show. We'll take a quick break, be right back with Vikings legend and Mount Rushmore toughest guy ever, Chuck Foreman, the superstar Mike Morse, who, by the way, he was a pretty tough guy, too. I don't know any guy who got away from him when he wanted to tie him up to a goalpost.
I've had some issues with that. Trust me. Trust me on that one. I got tied to a goalpost once for doing that too often. Anyway.
Really?
Who tied you?
Jerry Ball on the defensive line. They handcuffed me to the
Jerry
pole
Ball?
inside.
Jerry Ball.
Big
yeah.
Jerry Ball.
Big Jerry.
Yeah, he could
but
definitely
he
snatch
brought
you.
his heathens in. He got the henchmen together and put me around a pole, my arms around a pole down in the locker room at Winter Park and handcuffed me and left me there. I had it coming.
That's what you get. That's what you get.
I had it coming.
You were a bully.
No, that was no good.
And Fox 9's Jim Rich, you ever do that to any of your co-hosts? And co-workers?
No. I've been.
Well, you've been thrown in the snow by the superstar.
I've been thrown.
He
in
is a bully.
I've been thrown for lack of payment. I was taken to a different kind of bank where he
Snowbank.
deposited
The
me.
snowbank.
Yes.
All right,
Threw me there and a few other things. And I've been threatened by the whole offensive line.
Mike Tice, from
Yep,
what you and
Mike
I did.
Tice, yes.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ever.
All right.
But no, I've never been taped to a goalpost yet.
So,
All right, well, let's take that quick break. And by the way, I got to ask you, because you have on your computer, meet Minnesota's 2026 NHL draft prospects. When's their draft?
In July.
Okay.
We've got time to
All
size
right,
that.
we're going to talk about it. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Derek with Family Owned TWS Remodeling. How does 25% off your next remodeling project sound? Well, right now at TWS, everything is 25% off. That's 25% off all bathrooms, kitchens, windows, siding, roofing, decks, and doors. And there's more. For a limited time only, put nothing down and pay no interest for 36 months. That's no down payment, no interest for 36 months, and a whopping 25% off your entire project. Call TWS Remodeling today.
We are back with more of the JimBob Sports Jamboree, brought to you by TWS Remodeling, Trade Home Shoes. And here's what I want to ask you guys. The Mount Rushmore of all-time Vikings first-round picks. I'm going to give you a list of some. I mean, if I forget somebody that you think should be on it, you let me know. Jim, should we run through the whole thing or just give some of the
I
tops?
could give you the.
Go ahead.
You got Tommy Mason, the first ever.
Yeah, never been
Then
on
Carl Eller in 64. Gene Washington, 67. Also, Alan Page was in that first
Who
round.
was the third first-round pick that year?
Uh,
Clinton Jones was first, right?
Yeah, Clint Jones is in there with.
yep, you're right. They had 3 first rounders that
that's-
year.
yeah,
You're
you
saying
were
that
right.
Clinton Jones, Gene Washington, and Alan Page?
That's right.
Oh, my God.
That
Let's
was
talk
like-
about
that was-
reloading.
yeah, you talking
Holy
about- yeah.
buckets. And then you have Ron Yeri in 68. You
Yeah.
have Jeff Seaman, God rest his soul, in
Yeah.
72. And 73.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good pick there.
Yeah, decent.
12th overall, number 44, Chuck Foreman. Tommy Kramer came along in 77. 83, Joey Browner, another one who is unfortunately no longer with us. Keith Millard the year after. Chris Dolman in 85. Randall McDaniel, your buddy, in 88. Robert Smith in 93. Todd Stussy in 94. Also, let's see here. We got Corey Stringer, another great guy that should still be here. That went in 95. Randy Moss in 98. And Culpepper, the year later, Michael Bennett in 2001. Chris Hovan in 2000. He was a interesting character. Bryant McKinney, speaking of characters, 02. Kevin Williams, soon to be a Hall of Famer, in 03. Chad Greenway, 06. Adrian in 07. Percy in 09. Matt Khalil, Harrison Smith, both in 2012. Xavier Rhodes, Cordero Patterson, 2013, 2014, Barr and Teddy Bridgewater, and in 2020, Justin Jefferson.
All right, Chuck, I'm going to go to you first because you
Right.
played with some of these early guys. 4 guys. Who was on your Mount Rushmore? Because I think there's going to be one or two from your era.
You got to use the microphone, Chuck, so we can hear you.
That I played with.
Played with. And you're in that group too if you want to
Okay,
be.
there would be Mick Tinglehall.
Wait a minute, 4 guys. He's not a first-round pick.
Oh, okay.
Only first-round picks that he went for.
Oh, let me see.
Your era would be Eller, Page, Yeri.
You.
All right, there you
Seaman
go.
first.
Those 3 right there. Eller, Page, and Yeri.
Okay, you got one more.
1973. Boom, he's in there.
All right, I'm gonna call myself too.
What pick were you again? Was he 44th
12.
pick?
He was 12.
Okay, I thought you said
12th
okay.
pick, man.
I was going to say, that's too far down the list.
How about you, Mike?
I would go with what I had. My roommate, not a bad selection. Randall McDaniel.
Great selection.
That's not bad. Randy Moss, played with him a few years later down the road. Guys that I haven't played with, I'd put on there too. But to get a different list out of it, I'd go with J.J. Jefferson, and I'd go with Kevin Williams.
Wow.
All right.
I would say John Randall, but he wasn't. He was a free agent.
Yeah. Jim, where about you?
How about, I just want to point out, since 2020, we've not had one player drafted that has gone to a Pro Bowl or been named All-Pro. After Jefferson came Jeff Gladney in the first round, Christian Darrisaw, who has the shot if he actually
Plays.
stays on the field in 2021. Lewis Seen in 2022. Jordan Addison in 23. 24, J.J. McCarthy, Dallas Turner, and last year Donovan Jackson. That may be the best shot. Well, Turner's got a pretty good shot at it.
Yeah, he
too.
does.
definitely.
So what about you? Who's your for Mount Rushmore? That's a tough one.
It is, because, I mean, there's so many classics. You got to go Moss, obviously. And Chuck has got to be in there. And
You got 2 left.
I know, I already got 2 left. I mean, how can you not go with Page and Eller? I mean,
That'd be hard to beat.
those are the 4 guys.
Well, here's what I would do. I'd agree with Page and Eller. I'd also go with Randy Moss, Randall McDaniel,
Yeah.
but that's 4. I would split the face.
Oh, no, you can't.
One
split
half
the
would be
face.
Chuck, one half would be Eller. Because I get them both on there. Because you can't leave Chuck off that list either.
You are a real creative guy.
Yeah, he tells us
That's the
4.
Jersey
He tells
guy.
us, okay, only 4.
That's 4
what you got.
heads.
And now I'm
You have the
splitting
visage on
something.
one. If you're looking from the
Why
north,
does Chuck want his head split in half? I don't think he would like
You
that.
got to remember, he's from Jersey. They split people
that's right. We
out there
split
all the
people in half
time.
all the time. That's not a big deal. So, all right. So,
funny.
like I said, Page, Moss, Randall, and Chuck and Eller. You know what? If I was going to drop one, I think I would drop Carlin. The reason would be because until Chuck arrived, that team wasn't doing anything. I mean, you were a difference maker, and it's not because you're sitting next to us. You were a difference maker on that
true.
team. All right, now now for the fun one. What is the Mount Rushmore of the worst all-time draft picks? I got 2 right off the bat. Leo Hayden, who never played for the Vikings because he was terrible. Demetrius Underwood's number 1 on that list.
Yeah.
I'd put Lewis Seen on it too, as another one.
Because he was unseen.
That's right.
It was never seen.
And just pick anybody from the early. Well, wait a minute. I'm trying to look at that list you got
No,
there.
I'm not.
Oh, who's the one that dropped all the passes?
No, that's my number 1.
Williamson.
You can't take him. Yep.
He was actually okay, wasn't he, at one point?
Troy Williamson?
He played okay at one point.
He won the Super Bowl ring with Baltimore, didn't he? Oh, I think he did.
I don't know.
He may have. I know 2 people that won. It was McKinney, Burke with Baltimore, and there was another one of us.
Was Brian McKinney on that team?
Yeah.
He started?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, right tackle, right? Was he right? He had to be right, or was he left?
Before Ogden, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. But he started for him and played. He got a ring. He might have. He might have been a guard even. I don't know.
Oh, McKinney?
Yeah, maybe for
No,
them.
he
for
played
them.
with Baltimore for several years.
But I mean, did he play guard when he played with them?
No, I think he was a tackle there.
He was a tackle.
Yeah. I knew he was a
And that's a
tackle.
mountain of a man.
Whew, man, between him and Lode Holt, that was our
guess what?
biggest 2 sides.
When I was down in Miami last week,
Was he there?
yeah, he was there. But guess they got guys on that team to make him look small. And now that's saying
That's
something.
scary.
And
That's
not
a scary
only that, can move.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, Troy Williamson never. I'm thinking of somebody else. He never
Yeah.
got a Super Bowl ring. He was
Right.
with Vikings in Jacksonville.
Okay, Chuck, what was the story behind Steve Riley? First round
Yeah.
pick,
He's a good player.
25th overall in 74.
He doesn't belong on the list of worst. He was.
He was okay.
Steve
It's
was,
the name I didn't
you know,
recognize.
Steve, you know
I
what
don't
Steve's
remember him.
problem was? Not problem. He followed Ron Urie out of USC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Riley was.
Ron Urie was dominant.
He was. He was a good player. Not great.
Steve
but good.
Riley was a good
He was a good player. No, he was.
But you know, he wasn't as, you know, Ron had a little mean streak in him. Steve was
John Michaels said the meanest player he's ever coached in his entire time, and that was 29 years when I ran into Johnny. He said it was Ron Urie.
yeah, he was nasty.
He was the meanest guy he ever
Yeah,
coached on the
he
offensive
was
line.
like,
Coming from Johnny, that's pretty mean.
Yeah,
pretty
That
good,
is
yeah.
pretty
Steve
mean.
Riley had a lot, but he was big too.
Yeah.
But for my time.
Yeah.
But now when I went, like I said, I was down in Miami. My offensive line,
They're big guys anymore, aren't they?
hey man, they wouldn't. I don't know, like Mick and all. Heck, even Milt Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, those guys in my era were pretty nice. Except for Mick was always small, but
Yeah.
these guys are so huge, and I'm talking about huge, but in shape.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to explain. The athletes of today are totally different than the athletes of my era
Totally.
because
Yeah,
they got the
yeah.
nutrition, they got their, you know, their own personal diets.
It's a working on it year round. Like you guys had to have jobs. Some of you.
Yeah, we had, but those guys get paid. You know,
paid
and then you go into a college parking lot now, It's like, Ferrari, what's that? A Ford.
Yeah.
It's not like a 62 Chevy that got 100,000 miles on it.
Chucks, thanks for that reminisce. All right, thank you for listening. We're going to go for this for now, and next week we'll talk all about the Vikings draft. We're going to take that quick break that'll last about a week, and we'll talk to you next time.